evening, everyone, and I am your host and lead commentator for this evening. My name is Sean Madden, and welcome to Season 10 of Week 3 of the FRL Pure Sim Gear Super Sprint Series. As always, alongside me in the commentary box today is my legendary co-commentator, Rob Barker. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, Sean, and good evening, everybody. Welcome in.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, so today is round 3 of the Super Sprint Series, and we are in the Garden of England. Yes, that's right. We are in the southeast of England in Kent for the home of the Brands Hatch GP circuit, where it has to be said, it's not looking so glamorous today with the current weather conditions. It's a very tricky circuit to negotiate at the best of times, but the drivers may have a pretty adverse racing conditions to contend with on top of that. But before we get into that, let me run you through the point standings after 2 rounds so far. So, leading the pile right now is Zadinek Vortel. Now, he is definitely a man to catch at the minute. He has brought home 3 wins out of the 4 races we've done, with 158 points, sitting pretty on top. In second, and actually joint second, is Kobe Alerts with Melvin Crows, who are now 32 points behind, sitting on 126 points apiece. Solid drives from Alerts and Melvin Crows with a podium apiece. In P4, we have Nikola Busov. Now, after a great showing at round 2 at Imola, got 2 second positions. He is now sitting with 113 points. In 5th, we've got Dan Naisbitt, who has 100 points. He's brought home a 5th and basically 3 top 10 finishes has put him up to 5th position. So Aldori is in P6, sitting on 97 points. Then we've got Francisco Souza on 96 points. P8 is Jay Wazza with 95 points. Then we've got Thomas. In P9 with 92 points. The only other racer to actually grab a race win. But after the DNF in the last race of Imola has sunk right down in the league tables. Rounding up the top 10, we've got Robbo Fernka on 86 points. Then we've got Pedro Silva in P11, 84 points. Danny McCutcheon in P12, of course, the reigning champion from the amateur division last time out, doing really well in P12. P13, we've got Matteo Di Stefano, who didn't compete in the first round but got 2 4th positions in round 2 at Imola, sits on 68 points. Then we got Zuri Zabravani in P14 with 64 points. Will Friedman in P15 with 63 points. Then we got Michael Mullenix in P16 with 55 points. Blakely Townsend in P17 on 54 points. Then we got Darren Townsend in P18 sitting on 48 points. Michael Clark in P19, 35 points. And then top 20 is Kari Matti Naikkonen, who didn't compete in round 2 at Imola. He has 33 points. So, with all that said, it's over to a man I like to call Stato Robbo. Rob, can you give us all the info and details on tonight's race, please?
I can do indeed. So the guys now are just finishing up their practice session, which was a 1-hour practice session. Just a couple of minutes to go on that. Qualifying will start at 8 p.m. UK time. Actually, we are running just a couple of minutes late, so just in a couple of minutes we will start qualifying. 15-minute qualifying session. Race 1 will be a 20-minute super sprint, and race 2 will be a 40-minute super sprint. No mandatory pit stops. Fueling is allowed but not mandated, and there is no mandatory tyre change for this race. Full points on offer, as always. 40 for the top and 2 extra bonus points for the fastest lap of the race. Points will be awarded all the way down to P30.
Fantastic, Rob, fantastic. So, I have got a track guide to give you guys around Brands Hatch. Now, I am using the McLaren 720S Evo car. Have to say, it's in dry conditions as opposed to what could be happening on track with the rain and stuff. But please do enjoy. For those that are new to the game, you may take reference from what I did earlier. So, lap around Brands Hatch at turn 1. We are looking for the orange board sort of on the left-hand side, just after where it says brake for Paddock Hill Bend. Turn 1. Get a good apex on the left-hand side. The car naturally wants to understeer off to the left-hand side. We're braking for the orange board just before the arch on the left-hand side for Druids. Down into first gear, up into second gear, and then for Graham Hill Bend, we're looking for the orange board on the right hand side. You want to kind of aim for the right hand curb before you start turning into the left hand side, clipping the apex, second gear, and then up into third gear. Don't go too wide because that will be a cut track penalty. Now we're looking for either the orange board or the one board on the right hand side for our braking reference for this turn here. And you want to kind of take a late apex to kind of straighten up the car early to get on the power earlier for this straight. So it is down the hill, fourth gear up to fifth gear. And then coming up to Hawthorne Bend for turn 5, we're looking for the orange board on the right-hand side there as our little braking reference. Down into fourth gear, try to clip the apex and don't go too wide on the exit. Now for turn 6 for Westfield Bend, again, the orange board on the right-hand side is our friend there, clipping the apex and using all the runoff curb on the exit. And then for turn 7 and 8 for Dingledale and Sheens, both markers is fine. And then it's down into third gear. Now this is a tricky turn because it's a blind corner. And you want to run over the curb. Car will get a little bit unstable though. But using the orange board on the right hand side for Sterling's at turn 9, that is our braking reference down into second gear. Again, don't run off too wide on the exit there. And then down clearways for Clark Curve for turn 10. It's that orange board. You want to brake just before it though, and you want to get as close to the apex as possible and use as much of the road as possible to maximise your speed out of Clark Curve. And we get a 1 minute 24.5, which is a reasonably competitive time in the dries, but the track is very different to what I experienced the other day. We are in, well, very, very bad conditions, it has to be said, Rob.
Yes, the weather does not look good in the southeast of the UK right now. Absolutely torrential weather. Track temperature currently 23 degrees, ambient 21, and as you can see, the track is flooded. Brands Hatch is obviously one of the UK's most famous motor racing circuits, located near West Kingston in Kent, and has a history dating back to the 1920s. The 3.9 kilometre or 2.4 mile circuit has sort of 9 main corners, with the 10th if you include the top of Dingledale. 4 to the left, 5 to the right. Turn 1 Paddock Hill. We'll see the drivers plummeting around 11 metres from top to bottom of the hill before climbing up the hill once again to Druids Hairpin. An absolute roller coaster of a circuit, and with the track in its current conditions, I think this is going to be quite a spicy what's the word I'm after? Entertaining race.
Oh, indeed, Rob, indeed. I mean, this circuit in the dry conditions is very difficult to keep the car on the circuits. A very bumpy circuit, very narrow as well. If it was dry, I wouldn't even envy the drivers to try and make passes, really. But now that it's a rain-drenched circuit, drivers have got to be extra cautious, and I think just keeping it on the circuit is a big plus, I think, Rob.
Yeah, visibility is going to be poor for those that are trailing other vehicles, and there's quite a few vehicles on track at the minute. So we're looking at a strong grid of 22 drivers, and yeah, following another car in this weather can really hinder your visibility. Luke Prentice setting the early pace in practice, currently sat 23 in the standings in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2, and qualifying is underway.
Yes, indeed. We've got 12 and a half minutes left of qualifying right now. No one has set a lap time yet. I believe we are on board with Law in the Ferrari. Look, you can see from that sort of windscreen now the amount of rain droplets are on the windscreen, and how fast the wipers are going there. It's very poor conditions for racing, but we'll see how much slower the drivers are on their fast laps. But so far so good from Law, keeping it nice and steady.
Just to put it into perspective of how wet it is, Kyle Ertz, who we know is a super quick driver in the 702 Ferrari, has just done a full 180 trying to leave the pit. So super slippy out there.
Yes, indeed, Rob, and this is the pro category, of course. Some of the finest drivers on track. So if it's hard for them, then clearly the conditions are super sketchy. As we saw Will Freeman temporarily go into the lead, but now it's replaced by Law with a 1 minute 37.192. Now, referring back to the demo lap that I put in a 1 minute 24.5. That is the difference between dry and wet.
I do believe, I'm just double checking now, but I do believe this is the first time we've actually seen Law on track. Just looking for his number in the roster. I don't think he has competed yet.
Yes, I don't recognise him also. He's got a green Ferrari livery there. No, I don't believe I actually have seen him before.
Not currently sat in the standings. So the first race, probably not his first race with FRL, but definitely our first time commentating with Law. Sets the early pace of a 137.1. That puts him pole. That has just been pretty much, as I've said, taken pole, just been taken off him by the current leader, Vortel, in the 999 McLaren with a 136.65, nearly 0.6 of a second quicker he goes.
Yes, and I suspect, Rob, as well, that because the nature of the circuit and the racing conditions, passes are going to be very, very difficult to make. With Vortel in such a strong position in the championship, it's very important for the guys around him, particularly, was it Kay Alerts and who was the other driver? Kay Alerts and... was it Busov?
Top three Crows, so Vortel P1, Alerts in P2, and currently sat in P3 is Melvin Crows in the number 25 Ferrari.
Right. Okay. So it's very important for them to, qualify in front of Vortel. Otherwise, although drivers can make mistakes, but Vortel will be in a very, very strong position. Going into this championship. So. But yeah, Law actually setting the pace at the moment, 1 minute 36.450. So he is just over 1.5 tenths quicker than Vortel in P2. We have got Robbo Fernker in P3 at the moment, 3.5 tenths off of Law, with Naisbit P4, De Silva in P5. We just see a driver just go off the first turn now. So this is what I'm saying, Rob. Drivers have got to be very, very careful, not only on their braking inputs, but also as well, they can't take the corners like they would in the dry.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
absolute belter of a lap from Missile. Pops himself into P1 with a 136.2, but also Will Friedman with another astonishing lap in the conditions. Pops himself into P2. Just 1/10 or just over 1/10 of a second behind Missile. Law still currently sat in P3 with Vortal just behind those. K-Alert's also setting his first flying lap after a spin in the pit early on, puts himself into P8, just shy of a second behind the front runners.
Indeed. I mean, we've still got 7.5 minutes of qualifying to go, so anything can happen. But yeah, Missile Dogshaft setting the early pace at the moment, 1 minute 36.2. We have still got another 3 drivers that have not putting a lap time in Apprentice, Critico and Alduri. Be very interested to see how Alduri does in this race, and also Critico as well. He wasn't present in round 1 at Monza, but actually got some decent positions in race 2 at Imola, so expecting big things from him.
Yeah, Vondel just puts in an absolute stormer of a lap, 135.6, 6/10 of the good, back on top with just over 6.5 minutes of the qualifying session remaining. I'm just going to quickly pop into chat. TR, welcome in, Chucky. We have Chucky, we got Dazat in the chat as well. Katie the Kite and DGM Sport. Awesome to see you all back. Strap yourself in. This one's going to be a bit moist. Indeed, yes, as Chucky just puts it there. It's definitely a very, very wet track, very wet circuit, and a real challenge for the drivers.
Oh, indeed. I mean, it seems like, Rob, that the rain's coming down even more than 10 minutes ago.
I'm not sure that's even possible.
But yeah, extremely treacherous conditions for the drivers. I think it's absolutely fantastic that they're just keeping the car on the circuit. Let alone putting in these lap times. Yes, Vortel currently on pole position, 1 minute 35.6. He's leading Law by just over 1.5 tenths. Maybe the McLaren may be better in these types of conditions, Rob? What's your opinion?
Difficult to say, not having driven them myself, but we do know Vortal is an incredibly quick driver, so I'd expect him to be in and amongst the top 5 regardless. Still currently leading the series with 3 race wins.
Well, interestingly, Prentice still hasn't come out on track yet. He's the only one not to put in a lap time at the moment. Perhaps the rain is not for him. I'm not really sure.
Well, Prentice set the quickest lap in the practice. So maybe he's feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, the last to first challenge is definitely on for Apprentice, by the looks of it. Yeah, maybe he knows something that we don't, Rob. Maybe he feels that there'll be absolute carnage at turn 1 and looking to make up lots of positions if people slide off the circuit.
Yeah, so just going through the registrations for the race, it's Craig Law that has stepped in as a reserve driver for tonight's race in the number 226 and currently in P2. Not bad for a reserve driver. Not
bad at all. Just reading chat. So welcome, Danny. He says that Prentice has a quali ban, so that would explain it. Yes. So, okay. Again, like I say, in these types of conditions, 20-minute race as well, everyone, really pushing to try and get, the race win or, really good racing finish. It might not be a bad thing for him, not qualifying. They're on a serious note there, Rob. Just going up and down the grid at the moment. Vortel is still currently on pole position. 1 minute 1 minute 35.405. Nearly 4 tenths quicker than Law in P2. Naisbitt's back into the pits. 6 tenths off at the moment. P3 for him. Robbo Fernker in P4. 6.5 tenths down. Is that Missile Dogshaft? Missile Dogshaft up into P2. 1.5 tenths down on Zadinek Vortel. So a great lap time from Missile Dogshaft. Any of the other drivers that I'm looking at, I was expecting Busov to be further up the grid. Currently P7, 1.2 seconds down on the leader. Same as K Alerts as well. 1.255 of a second down on Vortel in P8. What else have we got? Also Aldori, not liking these track conditions at the moment. Finds himself in P15, 2.3 seconds adrift of Vortel on pole position. So, normally... Oh, I don't know how to call this, Rob, to be honest.
Yeah, so Kobe I think there's the number 95 of Buzzoff is off the track, just coming up to Druid, so he's lost it on the exit of turn 1 by the looks of it. He rejoins the circuit.
Yep, safely does it from Busov, allows the 2 drivers through, so that's obviously good sportsmanship there. With 1 minute 20 seconds left in qualifying, if anyone's going to challenge Vortel at the top of the grid, they're going to have to get their lap downs done very, very shortly.
Yeah, indeed, coming up towards the pretty much the cut-off point of being able to get another lap in. Obviously there is a cool-down timer, but you will have had to have started your lap. I think the furthest back currently as number 39 is Robbo. He's starting a new flying lap now as number 301 and number 18 are both off in turn 1. They will probably not have enough time to get back out now. That will be
back in the garage for them.
Done.
Yep. Okay, just trying to find the appropriate driver. 78, who is that? 78 Berger?
Yeah, 78 in the McLaren. That is a BRC Berger.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't go quicker. Just trying to find the appropriate driver. It seems like the drivers are really struggling at the minute, though. Trying to catch someone that is on track, because quite a few drivers going into the pits now. So we'll get on board with Law, the new driver, or new to us at least. Just going around Clark Curve now.
Yeah, this will be the last one. Buzov did find himself in the litter at Paddock Hill. Law doesn't improve on his time. The number 15 of Alduri about to cross the line, currently P16, moves up to P12.
Good job there, Alduri. So yeah, 1.6 seconds adrift of Vortel. So that will be a 1 minute 37 flat for Alduri.
Moorhan's making his way around Clark with the number 14 just behind, which is Moggs. Currently P14. Does he improve? Nope.
No. Of course, Small Hand looking to put behind the disaster of Imola. If you remember, Rob had 2 incidents that after a really strong qualifying, he got caught in a bit of drama, a bit of skirmishes that kind of ruined his race, and ended up. I think he had 2 DNFs in the Small Hand.
In the first race.
Yes. Sorry, in at Imola, round 2.
Indeed. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that is it. That is it, ladies and
yes.
gentlemen. Everybody is across the line.
That is it. So let's just confirm qualifying for you guys. So Vortel ends up on pole position with a 1 minute 35.405. P2 is Missile Dogshaft with a 135.555. Law in P3. Great quality for him. Also in the Ferrari 296. 1 minute 35.562. 7/1000th of a second slower than Missile Dogshaft. That was in P2. Naisbit qualifies in P4, 136 flat with Robbo Fernka, 136 flat as well. Alerts P6 with a 136.2. De Silva in P7 with a 136.3. Friedman qualifies in P8 with a 136.4. Then we got Busov in P9 with a 136.6. Spanu rounds up the top 10 with a 136.8. Then we got Frank S in P11, Critico in P12, Aldori in P13, Berger in P14, Smallhand P15, Tro P16, Clark in P17, Akalugin in P18, Moggs in P19, Dazati in P20, with AV Player Racing in P21. McCutcheon didn't put a lap time in, so he's P22, with Prentice, who was banned from qualifying in this race, at the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, this one. Just having a quick look at chat. Looks like we've got a couple of SBR fans in the chat. SBR Milden and Floppy Fox 86 both cheering on their drivers. Also, good evening to Bill. Indeed, just in time. And well done, Dan. What a lap from the gaming with Gordo.
Indeed, yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend, and thank you so much for joining us. Which I think, just by the race conditions, could prove to be a very exciting race here at Brands Hatch GP. Anyone to kind of bet your house on, Rob, in this lineup?
Very difficult to say. And we've got a couple of drivers in here that we know can go fast. Obviously, Prentice as well. We cannot count him out, even though he will be at the back of the grid after that qualifying ban. He did set a very good very good time in the practice session leading up to the beginning of the stream. So we can't count anybody out. Will there be incidents? Probably. Like you said earlier, if you can keep your nose clean, there will be spots to pick up. I am pretty sure of that. Wet racing visibility is going to be absolutely horrendous for the drivers. Let's hope we don't see too many incidents, but I predict that there may be a few cars going wide and off into the grass and gravel areas.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be a driver on the outside for sure, Rob.
I just wouldn't want to be a driver at all.
That's quite true, actually, Rob, to be fair, yeah.
It's very wet out there.
Yes, indeed, yes. The drivers will need to be very careful. I mean, obviously, very wet conditions. Try and give a little bit of space. Of course, it is a race. Of course, you are battling for position, but at the same point, you don't want your race ruined, after sort of a couple of turns. So I suspect that the first lap, in particular, drivers are gonna be very respectful and try to sort of keep the car in one piece, really. So. Well, we will see as the clock counts down. 1.5 minutes until the formation lap, Rob.
Yes, just 1.5, 1 minute 20. And just while we have a little bit of time, there is an AM race going on at the same time. Obviously, this is the pros, but currently in the AM league standings, if I just run down the top 10, Bruno Camelo currently in P1 with the 146 points. Then we have Abdelaziz in P2 with a 130. Jonas Braun in P3. Liam O'Neill in the 324 car, the number 9 car in P4. We have Sven in the number 12 Ferrari in P5. Chris Gedman currently sitting in P6 in the BMW M4 GT3. Stuart Robinson in P7 in the Ferrari. We have Luis Descartes. You've absolutely butchered that name. I do apologise, Luis. In the number 205 BMW in P8. Christopher Knight in P9. And Maximilian in P10. It's very close in the AM League.
Yes. Good luck to the drivers in the amateur league. I think they're going to need it, as well as obviously the pro drivers as well. We've got 10 seconds until the formation lap starts. There's absolutely no chance of the drivers warming up the tyres in these conditions. That should be heading off. Yes, a little bit slow off the line, but away they do go. So Vortel will be leading the train of cars through turn 1 here, Paddock Hill bend. And yeah, they're very spaced out, as we can see.
I mean, guys, I was here at Brands Hatch earlier this year to watch the GT3s. That hill, Paddock Hill, is an absolute mountain when you're stood at the bottom of it.
Oh, I can bet on that, Rob. Yeah,
it is an absolute mountain.
Rob was almost thinking he needed his climbing gear to get up that hill. But yeah, I would imagine when you went, Rob, the track conditions wasn't like this.
Oh, they were significantly better than this. We did have a little bit of drizzle, sort of mid-race, but very quickly blew over. And it was an absolutely fabulous race, and it was a great opportunity to see one of my favourite racing drivers, Valentino Rossi, in the Audi R. I think he was in the Audi R8 at the time. He's recently moved to BMW. Obviously, Assetto Corsa Competizione is the official GT World Challenge game. So all the cars that you see here, they will be. This is what the kind of race that I was watching. Well, the exact race that I was watching. Fantastic race, absolutely fantastic racing.
Yes, and Valentino Rossi, someone that I have never seen actually in GT3 cars. More associated, obviously, on the motorbikes, isn't it? But absolute legend, and I can imagine he was still fast and furious in them GT3 cars, Rob.
Oh, the guy could drive, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And obviously he made his fame in the MotoGP series, but multiple Monza rally wins, and I think most recently got a win at Monza in the Enduro series.
Nice one.
Let's go turn 1 sim racing. Dan number 63, Spanu 18, and Danny McCutcheon in the 778. Purple and yellow, here we go. Good luck. Looking forward to this one. Good luck, everybody. Yes, we are looking forward to it also, as Vortel makes his way around the last corner. And over to you, Sean, for the start of the race.
Thank you, Rob. So yeah, the drivers just coming over the start-finish line as we start round 3 here at Brands Hatch Circuit. Can the drivers get a good start as it's green, go, green, go, 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 and Vortel does got a really good start at turn 1. Of course, the cars are going to be very cautious going in turn 1 and a turn 2 at the moment. No moves and shakers at the moment, although Vortel goes a little bit wide, although Missile Dogshaft can't take advantage of that, so Vortel leads from Missile Dogshaft from Naisbit, from Law, from Franca, or Fernka, sorry. Alertsy P6, De Silva, oh no, De Silva! No, sorry, the leaderboard just having...
Yeah, the leaderboard is definitely having a moment. Vortal momentarily was 140 seconds in the lead. That's an unbelievable achievement. But that obviously isn't the case. Just 1 second lead there for Vortal over Craig Law in P2.
Yes, 1.5 seconds it is now. So what a lightning start we've got from Vortel, from Law. Missile Dogshaft just 6 tenths behind in P3. And then we've got Naisbit in P4, De Silva in P5. So Vortel taking to the conditions very quickly, it seems. The rest of the field taking it a little bit easier, I suspect, Rob.
Yeah, visibility is absolutely... horrendous. If you get the chance to drop onto an onboard of a battle, Sean, you can see.
Yes.
Very.
Yes,
difficult.
and Alert spins. Alert spun it.
Yeah, Kobe
there's
Alerts
contact
is
as well. There's contact as well. And it's actually 3 cars off the circuit.
Yes, a 702 of Kobe Alert is also waiting for the numbers to clear. It's the 95 of Buzov,
yeah,
also
Buzov.
702 K Alerts, Buzov, and potentially...
It's Frank. Frank S90 as well, yeah. So unlucky there that obviously got collected from the spin. I mean, that was...
driver wide at turn 1 as well. Dazza is off at turn 1, put it in the kitty litter at Paddock Hill, making his way back on track.
Okay, yeah, down into P19. Yeah, and this is what we was afraid of, guys. Of course, you know, cars in front, you know, very easy to aquaplane off the circuit. And yeah, really unlucky for the 3 drivers there. Yeah,
it looked like Kobe just got it a little bit lit up on the exit of the final corner. And that caused the rear end to come round on him, and then he just collected the other 2 drivers. Worthy of notice, I did mention this earlier, the pace in practice. Luke Prentice already up into P8, setting the fastest lap of the race already.
Yes, indeed. And I said it, didn't I? I called it, Rob. I said, you know, it wasn't a bad thing to start at the back, you know, because there could have been drama in front of him and he might have been able to leapfrog him. Well, leapfrogged him he has, because he's up into P8, making 14 positions. And also getting a good run on Aldori as well, but I suspect he will not be sending it on Paddock Hill, but Adori goes a little bit wide, and that means that Prentice will go up the inside of him, up into P7.
Yeah, a little bit wide there. The Druids, as they work their way back down the hill. Craig Law setting the fastest lap of the race in P2, trying to chase down that 1.2 second lead to Vortal. Dogshaft comfortable, sitting comfortable in P3, driving well, consistent lap times. Previous lap was a 1:37.5.
Just to mention, Rob, a small hand going off the track. They're losing 2 positions to, I think it was Clark and Moggs. So yeah, a lot of the drivers really struggling for traction at the minute. Of course, small hand, the BMW 420 race car there.
Driving really well in the second race. Was it Small Hands did a very good job?
Yes, he did. Yeah. We know that Small Hands has very good pace. Maybe got a little bit unlucky in the last race. But sorry, Rob, I'm just on board with Prentice in P7. He's all over the back of Spanu in P6. I mean, literally can't see a thing, but making amazing progress. And yes, Rob, you was right. In practice, he definitely had the pace. So maybe Prentice is the Jensen Button of the GT3 world.
Yeah, potentially so. It's just I was just driving on board there with Will Friedman. He was rapidly closing down that time to the 52 Ferrari of Critico, but got a little bit loose into Paddock Hill. Caught the kit litter and had to back out of it completely. He's now really struggling as BRC Berger goes through and wide at the bottom of the hill there.
Meanwhile, Prentice goes up the inside of Spano into P6, so Prentice definitely a man on the move.
Unbelievable stuff. There's just 14 minutes left of this first race. Drivers are starting to space out a little bit. There's a good 1.4 second lead for Vortel.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Vortel, we know the man has pace. Oh, God, just kind of looking on Aldori there, looked like he cut the corner a little bit too much. Robbo Ferncar quite near the back of Aldori in P9. I suspect he will not be sending it into Clark Curve, though, but he's looking good, though. Aldori looks like he's struggling a little bit. Let's get on his onboard now as we approach turn 1. Oh yeah, Alduri running out wide actually, and there's Robbo Fernker with the move down the inside up into P8. So
yeah, gets the job done. It's with the visibility as poor as it is, you've got to make those opportunities matter. There will be cars missing apexes and kissing the exit curves, getting the car a little bit loose, and that's just a perfect opportunity to just drive straight past them.
Yes, indeed. It looks like Alduri really struggling with the setup of his Mercedes there on this very, very wet track. Critico now on the back of Alduri in P10. Alduri takes a more defensive line, although he went to the outside, nearly sort of lost the rear a little bit. But yeah, clearly struggling in that AMG. And I sense that Critico will be, I was going to say, sense an opportunity as he goes a little bit wide onto the grass. But yeah, clearly Aldori is holding up Critico in P10 and looking good in the slipstream. Maybe make a move on Clark Curve.
Oh, she's going to be brave.
Oh, there is contact though. There is contact. Alduri left the door open, so Critico swept through on the inside. There was contact between them, but I think Alduri actually let Critico through. So Critico is up into P9 now.
Looked like it was going to be a brave move, and it was a brave move.
Yeah.
Gets it done though. Gets the job done as it goes a little bit wide into Druids. So I'm riding on board now with Critico as he tries to close down that gap to Robbo and Spanu just in front in the 39 McLaren and the 18 Ferrari respectively. Some movers and shakers up and down the grid. Let's Buzov. He's currently in P19 after his early skirmish. Makes his stop and he's trying to claw some time back. He has Player Racing just in front, just a couple of tenths of a second. Visibility is so hard.
Oh, well, interestingly, Robbo Ferncut alongside Spanu hangs it around the outside. Very, very brave boy there. Spanu does take the inside line, but they're literally bumper to bumper as we go through the Dingo Dell part of the circuit.
Yeah, Dingo Dell.
Yeah, I always get mixed up with that corner. Yeah, he's hanging to the back of Spanu as we go down Clearways now. And meanwhile, is that Critico as well in the background? So Critico catching up to the pair of them as well. So clearly Spanu holding up a bit of the traffic here. Robbo Fernker will need to make a move on him very, very shortly.
That's just had the race warning, rate notification. We are halfway through this race, so less than 10 minutes to go now, 9 minutes and 43 seconds on the clock. 6 laps in. And Vortel still leads, but Law has set the fastest lap of the race. So it's Craig Law in
there's
P2.
a guy off. I think that's Aldori. Aldori spun off of... was it Graham Hillbend, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, dear.
That's Ahmed Alduri off.
Losing out on many positions. I think down into P16 now. So loses about 6 positions from that spin. Really unlucky there from Alduri. Meanwhile, Robbo Fernka, I think, has just got up the inside of Spanu to grab that P7 away from him as we come up to Dingo Dale now. You could see that he's definitely a lot more confident in these racing conditions. Critico now on the back of Spanu. So, Spanu is falling down the grid as we speak. So, with 8 minutes remaining, can he hold off Critico in P9?
Yeah, that skirmish from Alduri does put him down into P18 with Nikolai Busov.
Yeah, but
he's already got him. He's already passed. Sorry, my apologies. He's already passed. He's in P17 now.
yes, he's actually on the back of Akalugin in P16. So it's McLaren against Porsche. He's surely not going to make the move at T1. That would be a very bold manoeuvre. But going into Druids. Solid driving there from Akalugin. So Busov is going to need to be very patient to make that move on Akalugin. Maybe do it at the next turn. I literally cannot see anything on that dash camera there, Rob.
Yeah, the visibility is really poor. Craig Law setting another. I think that's trading places again. Let's see if we can have a quick look on his lap board. Previous lap was a 136.4. I'm not sure if that was the fastest lap of the race.
Just going to get on board with Rin now. I was just keeping an eye on Busov and Akalugin because Busov is literally about 1 or 2 tenths behind Akalugin. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Akalugin goes wide, actually, and Busov goes up the inside, but then goes wide. Into the gravel trap there as well, and just took a little bit too much speed into the corner, and all that hard work of trying to get around Akalugin actually backfires on him. And if anything, Alduri will be catching up with Busov now. Meanwhile, Luke Prentice actually has the fastest lap of the race now, up into P5, Rob.
Yeah, that was a 135.5 for the fastest lap of the race. Doing an exceptional drive from the back of the grid up to P5, chasing down to Silver in the McLaren 55.
Yeah, absolutely unreal, Rob. Fantastic driving from Luke Prentice. And I've got to say, if he had a little bit more time, who knows if he could go for the, maybe a podium or a race win. Of course, we have got race 2, 40 minutes to do, so maybe he'll fancy his chances, Rob.
Well, he's certainly got the pace if he can work his way up to P5 in less than 20 minutes, in 15 minutes. I think he will be definitely wanting to push further forward in the 40-minute feature race.
Just going down the order then, we're looking at Clark in P15, quite close to the back of Smallhand in P14. Clark in... Well, actually, it's the fight of the BMWs, actually. So, with 5 minutes left of race 1 to go, Clark is looking to maybe make a move on Smallhand. We've also... Moggs not too far in front of Smallhand as well, so could be a battle brewing towards the back of the grid here, Rob.
Yeah, talking about a battle brewing, Robbo in the 39 McLaren really starting to pile the pressure on Dan Naismith in the Lamborghini. Just a couple of tenths of a second apart now as they make their way up the south bank, down the back straight or into Pilgrim's Drop. He's really chasing him down at this point. Visibility again still really poor, but that gap is certainly closing.
Yes, indeed, Rob. Indeed, yeah. Using that slipstream to pull him along and putting all sorts of pressure on. It was there was a stop and go, wasn't it, Frank?
Yeah, Frank. So Frank in the 321 McLaren picks up a stop and go penalty.
Well, yeah, you was right there, Rob. There is a battle brewing here between Robbo Fernker and Naismith just in front. This could be going right to the wire here, Rob.
Yeah, Friedman just picks himself a free spot there as Spanu finds himself wide at Dingledale. So there's a free spot there for Will Friedman in the AMG Mercedes. Puts himself into the top 10.
Yes, but you know, can't take it for granted. Of course, in these conditions, it only takes a minor mistake to ruin your race. As we see Spanu go wide out of Paddock Hill over the gravel trap there. So yeah, I called it, didn't I, Rob? But yeah, Freeman up into P9. He has got 1.2 seconds to Critico in P8. So yeah, with 3 minutes remaining, we'll need to push if he's going to grab that P8 away from Critico. Also, Robbo Ferncar very close to the back of Naismith. Also, I think Prentice. No, sorry, my mistake there. As Robbo Ferncar, oh no, that's over a back marker, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Dazza in the Dazza T in the 688 BMW.
Got a little bit excited there for absolute nothing. But yeah, very, very close to the back of Naismith. This seems to be the battle on track right now. There is a couple of other battles, though, I see a little bit further back.
Yeah, Michael Clark seems to be having a very good race at the minute, chasing down the car, the 420 BMW of Smallhand. He has got a little bit of traffic in the way, but he's certainly closing that gap, trying to make some moves. Also, Smallhand's really starting to close down Moggs as we commentators curse engaged once again. I do apologise, Smallhand. Just as I switched on board, he takes it a little bit wide there, and Clark does find himself through.
Yeah, well, it did look like that Clark was a man on the charge, and you know, any bit of pressure that the drivers can put on these drivers goes a long way in these sort of conditions, as proved there. Goes wide, small hand again.
Robbo, oh no, Robbo locks up and just kisses the back of the number 63, but it does send him wide, and he has now potentially lost a place. I'm just waiting for the leaderboard to update. Yeah, he has. He lost the pace to Critico there.
Yes, because now we've got Friedman challenging Robbo now, all over the back of that McLaren. I thought maybe he will stick a nose in on the inside there, but decides to back off for now. But yeah, Freeman putting all sorts of pressure on Robbo as we are in the last 40 seconds of the race. So there will be one more lap once they cross the start-finish line.
No, I think that'll be it. That'll be it for Vortal. He's on the final. He'd already crossed the line. Vortal has already crossed the line, so this will be the final lap of the race. Vortal with a good 4 seconds over Craig Law. Missile Dogshaft a further 4 seconds back. Great drive from De Silva up into P4, qualified P7. Prentice, phenomenal drive from him, although there's some moves.
Prentice up the inside. Prentice up the inside of the Graham Hill curve there. And although De Silva fighting back, but yeah, it looks like Prentice has grab that P4 away from De Silva. It's a great move there from Prentice. As we look on board with Vortel, because Vortel is... Oh, sorry, I thought that was the last corner there, but that it's Dingo Dell. Yeah, Vortel 5 seconds is the lead over Law, P2, Missile Dogshaft in P3. So another faultless race from Vortel.
Yeah, Vortel is now just making his way up clearways into the final corner. Absolutely phenomenal drive. 5 seconds to the good.
Indeed, Rob, indeed. So, yeah, Vortel will come across the start-finish line to win race 1 of Brands Hatch GP. So, congratulations to Vortel with Law coming across the line in P2. So, great race from Law, and Missile Dogshaft will get that last podium position in P3. Then we got Prentice, P4, away from De Silva. Close finish in the end, but, yeah, Prentice up into P4 and De Silva P5. Naisbit will get P6 with Critico not too far behind in P7. Then Robbo Fernker, P8 for him. Friedman in P9. And rounding up the top 10 is Spanu, as he, I don't know if he purposely went across the grass there, but grabs that P10, Tro P11, Berger P12, Moggs in P13, just coming across the line now. Clark with P14, Busor. Oh, it's close. Oh no, sorry, that's a back marker. So it's Busov P15, Small Hand in P16, Akalugin just coming across, coming around the last turn to grab a P17 away from Aldori. So Aldori sunk down into P18, and then the guy that I thought was coming across the line battling for the position of Small Hand, I think was Dazzo actually. So
what a phenomenal race one here at Brands Hatch in the absolute pouring down rain. Driver of the day for me, not that it makes any difference, but what a category as well also. What a drive from Prentice with an absolute monster drive from the back of the grid. Unbelievable stuff from him. Vortal 3 race wins in a row. And obviously we've also got Craig Law, first race of this season, coming into this event as a reserve driver on the podium, and also a fantastic podium for Missile Dogshaft as well, picking up that last podium spot in P3. Phenomenal race, guys, and don't go anywhere because coming up shortly will be the 40-minute feature race.
Indeed, Rob. Indeed. Just to sort of it's not classifying, but the provisional race results there. Yeah, just to say congratulations to Vortel for the race win there. Law in second, Missile Dogshaft P3, Luke Prentice in P4. As you said, Rob, fantastic. Race from him going from P23 up into P4, so that is 19 positions there. Absolutely fantastic. De Silva in P5, Naisbit in P6, Crisico in P7, Robbo Fernco in P8, Friedman in P9, Spanu in P10, with Tro in P11, Berger in P12, Moggs in P13, Clark in P14, Busov in P15, Small Hand in P16, Akalugin in P17, Aldori in P18, Dazza in P19, AV Player Racing in P20, with Frank P21, and I think Eller and McCutcheon were the drivers that got caught up in the accident near the start of the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, that'll be a DNF for those. Dazza in the chat, mate, you're a braver man than I am. How are the conditions out there? Because it looks absolutely horrific. So regardless of where you finished in that race, you're a much braver man than I did. It was, got on with it, got the race done, took the checkered flag. So GGCU.
Indeed. So yeah, guys, after seeing race 1, who do you think may win race 2? Do you think Vortel will run away with victory in race 2, or do you think there's anyone else that you could see winning in race 2?
Again, Sean, really tough one to call. 20 minutes is hard enough to keep focused on in these kind of conditions. 40 minutes is a completely different task at hand. These guys need to be absolutely on it for 40 minutes. The conditions are no better, so could be
Yes,
anybody's game.
indeed. To be honest, I thought we might see a little break in the rain, but it's looking like it is going to be like this for the full duration of this 40-minute race. I mean, maybe you could say that the drivers are starting to get used to it, but as alluded to, you know, even the slightest of mistakes can result in you spinning or going off circuit. So it's a tough thing to ask for the drivers to stay concentrated for the whole 40 minutes. Definitely a tall order. But yeah, I'm so glad that they're doing it and not myself or maybe you, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know about your commentary box, Sean, but mine is lovely. It's dry.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's very nice and warm, and you know, got a nice cup of tea to the side of me as well. But yeah, it's well, like I say, I don't envy these drivers at all, but these are some of the finest drivers on the PlayStation 5 platform of ACC. So, you know, I've got every faith in these drivers, but yeah, as I said, it's going to be tricky, but very, very much looking forward to the race here, Rob.
Yeah, indeed, myself, me too. Also, just slotting back to a message that I did spot in the chat and didn't pick it up at the time. Luke Prentice plays this game on controller, which in itself, wow. I've tried this game. I play this game on the wheel, and I'm not very good, but playing it on the pad was almost impossible for me. I couldn't get round a lap.
Well, I mean, I've not actually attempted myself, Rob, but
I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, but yeah, this is obviously a true simulation or a true racing simulator, and was very much made for you know, wheel and pedals. So yeah, you got to say or give a big hand to him for, you know, doing it on controller, especially in these conditions as well.
Yeah, not only these conditions, but having the pace that he did to get from the back of the grid to that P4, taking to silver on the last but one or last lap. But 3 seconds to go, Sean, for the formation lap.
Yes, indeed.
I'm just going to hop out of the commentary box for a hot second and go and grab myself a drink because my throat is very dry.
Yeah, don't blame you, Rob. Don't blame you. So yeah, the driver's just going off the line now, and yeah, just sort of shuffling for position and trying to keep them tyres as warm as possible, if that's even possible. So yeah, just going through turn 2 at Druids. Yeah, I do not envy these drivers in the slightest, but yeah, Vortel, of course, on pole position again, away from a missile, Dogshaft, and Law. So Vortel looking for same again from race 1. So we'll see how he gets on here, but yeah, Vortel, Missile, Dogshaft on row 1, Law and Naisbit on row 2, Robbo, Ferncut and Alerts in the third row, De Silva and Friedman on row 4. Then we got Buzov and Critico on the 5th row. Buzov will be looking to do so much better this time round than he did in race 1. Luke Prentice, of course, surely having the confidence to grab, you know, maybe even a podium after race 1, starting at the back of the grid, of course.
Law to win in chat from SBR Milden.
That's a bold statement, but yeah, Law has shown that he has got great. Well, he had great quali pace, but also actually did really well in the race as well.
Oh, he did absolutely phenomenal. Very, very consistent drive from Craig in that race number 1. And a very deserved podium. Levy in the chat, welcoming Liam.
I'll say, Levi, I was watching him for about 5 minutes before we came on here. Absolute goat on that game. Call of Duty. Definitely got the skills. But yeah, we're just coming around Clark Corner to start this race. 40-minute race here at Brands Hatch GP in shocking conditions, it has to be said. Can Vortel get a good start in this race? It's green, and it's go, go, go. And it is a good start from Vortel. Of course, has the inside line going into paddock. Oh, nearly contact, but that is Law up into P2 from Missile Dogshaft.
Yeah, the door was open, Sean, and he saw the opportunity and grabbed it with both hands and said, thank you very much, that P2 is mine early on. We have a stationary car on the grid, number 15, I was just returned to the pits. That's Ahmed Al-Douri not starting the race.
Oh, very interesting. A possible bug or something like that? Or that's very strange.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my leaderboards to fix themselves because, again,
So
Vortal is already 138 seconds up the road. Absolutely phenomenal start.
Yeah, Vortel gets a lightning start again, but this time Law finds himself in P2 and will be looking to put all kinds of pressure to Vortel this time.
Sean, can you just remove track map and make it a little bit smaller for the guys in stream? Arrow, top left.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Sorry, guys. So yes, Law getting very close to the back of Vortel, actually, as we go down clearways for Clark Curve for the last turn of lap 1. And very solid driving there from Vortel. But Law staying to the back of him, of course, though, Rob. So yeah, this time Law.
Much cleaner start to race 2. Obviously, the guys must be aware this is a 40-minute race. Don't need to make too many moves. It's a long race and plenty of spaces to be taken with drivers coming on and off the track in various places. So yeah, incident-free so far.
Indeed, Rob, indeed. And just looking at the rest of the field here at the minute, yes, we have quite a number of cars in a train right now. Or, I mean, you could actually say from P5 downwards, it's, looking at the map, there's a lot of cars in close proximity. Of course, the cars are going to be a lot slower in these types of conditions, so moves will be made. I feel as we got Tro alongside Akalugin, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Tro and Akalugin in P12 and 11 and 12.
And yeah, it looks like he makes the move stick, moves up into P11, although there's a little bit of contact, and Akalugin goes wide, and that's going to allow Frank to go up the inside of him as we approach Dingo Dell. Oh, side by side, there's contact! And Frank goes spinning off the track and losing many positions. And that is so unfortunate there for Frank as he loses about 10 positions there. Akalugin gets away with it, remains in P11, although he does have Tro very close to the back of him now in P12. Prentice, meanwhile, already up into P10 and closing in on Spanu in P9 on lap 2 here. No, sorry, lap 3. Although, is that Prentice going wide? No, that... no, that must have been Akalugin, was it?
Sorry, my mic was muted there. Friedman was wide there in the AMG, coming down Paddock Hill way.
Yeah.
He's got easy few places there for Buznov, Critico and Spanu. So an early mistake by Will. He'll need to get back on the charge. But yeah, indeed, Prentice already up into P9 and very much on the back bumper of that Ferrari number 18.
Indeed, and we've also got, I think isn't that Critico's just gone up the inside of Busov, is it? Yeah, it is. Critico, Critico went up the inside of Busov into P6. So drivers making their moves at the moment then, and Critico looking to move further up the field, but Prentice.
I'm not sorry, sure. I'm not seeing that pass. I'm still seeing Buznov in front of Critico.
It was definitely on the inside, unless he took the defensive line, because we did cut to the shot quite late in. So I thought maybe he went up the inside, but I could be mistaken there, Rob.
Yeah, I think Buzov still currently driving P6 and Critico in P7. Still very, very close between the two drivers as Prentice now starts to charge towards those two drivers. Has gone a little bit wide out of Paddock Hill. Ben making his way up to Druids, down hard on the brakes. Visibility still horrendous. It
is absolutely shocking. I can't see a thing here, Rob, at all. And I know, like, I'm old and my eyes are going a little bit, but still, this is this must be really horrific here for the drivers, and they're definitely braver than me for certain. But Prentice doing a fantastic job at the moment. Up 14 positions to P8. We're only like 6 minutes into the race. Only 7 more positions to go, Rob.
Yeah, he's working his way up. We've lost Michael Clark to the pit, and also Dan Naisbitt to the pits as well. I don't know whether they've picked up some damage in maybe a skirmish off track, but they are both in the box.
Yes. Oh, and there's someone that's just gone wide as well. I think it was AV Player Racing. Yes. So I was scrolling up the field. Frank S has moved himself up into P18. Wasn't Frank S a bit further up the field though? Maybe there was a three-way collision. I'm pretty sure Frank S was further up.
Well, Frank S would have started the race in P11, so he has gone backwards quite a few number of spots there.
Obviously we haven't got evidence of a replay or anything, but yeah, I suspect that maybe there was a bit of a skirmish between Clark Nesbitt and Frank S, and Frank S being the only one that survived. Actually, Rob, we are down to... Oh, yeah, of course, we are down to 21 drivers because Al-Douri... Yeah, okay.
Ahmed Al-Douri disconnected before the start of the race. I'm not sure whether it was a disconnect at the end. Oh! What
was that, Rob? Is that Prentice on Busov?
Guys, I don't know.
Well, we got Prentice in P8 at the moment, just behind Busov then. And Busov goes wide! Busov wide, and Prentice up into P7 now. And I've forgotten what the name of that turn is, but I think that's turn 8, isn't it? So, Prentice up into P7 now, looking to chase down Critico in P6. I'm waiting for the leaderboard to update, but I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Prentice is in P7, so yeah, looking to chase down now Critico in P6. Just going through the first turn here. That gap is coming down. We appear to have lost Rob. Are you still there, Rob? I did hear you just then.
My apologies, dude. I did have a momentary disconnection there. My internet just dropped out real quick. I do believe on backstream is back up and running. Can you guys all hear me okay?
Hopefully you guys can. I can definitely hear him on my end. Scruff King, welcome to the stream as well. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a fantastic weekend, and thank you so much for joining us. We are 10 minutes into race 2 at Brands Hatch GP circuit. A very damp and dreary day here in Kent, and yeah, we've already seen lots of action on circuit, and I suspect there is definitely more to come as well. Just trying to find a driver that is battling at the moment. It's looking like Prentice is the guy, yeah, closing in on Critico in P6. It's roughly about 9/10 the gap between them at the moment. But at the moment, Critico standing his ground, and yeah, has kept that 1 second gap to Prentice on lap 7 now. Actually, Critico not too far behind De Silva now in P5. Robbo Fernker we have in P4, who is just under 2 seconds down on Missile Dogshaft in P3. It's looking like Law has gone further adrift to Vortel, who is currently leading the race at the moment. 3.5 seconds is the gap from Vortel to Law. But yeah, Tro rounding off the top 10 at the moment. Spanu actually not too far behind in P11, 6/10 down, and actually closing rapidly as we see here. Absolutely no visibility, not using his wipers it seems. But,
oh wow.
So clearly got X-ray vision there. But yeah, Spanu getting very close to the back of Tro. And putting all sorts of pressure on Tro as we go through turn 5? I think it's turn 6 actually. Turn 7, turn 8, yes. So yes, Spanu looking to get into the top 10 here, but yeah, that is about 1 or 2 temps now. I was going to go back on the onboard there, but he's not using his wipers, so.
So I have managed to get myself back into the race. Craig Law setting the fastest lap of the race, I think just a couple of laps ago. Spanu now very, very close to the back of Tro in P10 and 11 respectively. Has he got making a move potentially? Not quite. They make their way up to Druid's hairpin.
Yeah, there is definitely a battle developing now between about 4 cars now, isn't it? So we've got Kelly Alerts that's joined the party, although it goes a little bit wide out of the Graham Hill bend. That is not going to help him out, but yeah, there is definitely a fight between Tro, Spanu and Alerts. Yeah, it's sorry, so not 4 cars, 3 cars. Sorry.
You've got a couple of little packs there. The 55 of De Silva, 52 of Critico and Prentice in a nice little bunch. And as I am riding on board with Spanu, he is in a pack of 4 with Tro and Will Friedman up front with Kobe just behind a second and a half back. Right up at the front though, Vortel finds himself with a healthy 3-second lead over Craig Law in the 226 Ferrari, and Missile Dogshaft a further few seconds back in P3, also in the Ferrari.
Yeah, so far so good from Vortel. Yeah, that is quite a comfortable lead he has at the moment, and it's just same again from Vortel, isn't it? Of course, won both races at round 2 in Imola. It's looking like he's going to do the same for round 3 at Brands Hatch. So
it's 26 minutes to go. I wouldn't want to put any money on that just yet.
Well, I do have a habit of jinxing the drivers, isn't it, Rob? So maybe I might have spoken too soon, but you know, definitely very I would say very impressive driving from Vortel so far, and you know, he's definitely a guy that has pace, but very consistent as well.
Yeah, incredibly consistent. We've seen it in, all 4 of the races, winning the first race, P3 in the second 40-minute feature race at Monza, taking the double victory last week in Imola, and already a race win at Brands this evening.
Yes, yeah, that's correct, Rob. Doing an absolute fantastic job. But meanwhile, I am on board with Prentice, who is just behind Critico. So he has managed to close that gap on Critico, who is in P6. Oh, God, there's someone slow and someone off the track there. I can't see who that was. I think that was Robbo Ferncar.
So we have the number 14 car of Moggs there in the Ferrari, parked up at the pit wall.
Yeah.
Law! Oh no! Law is facing the wrong way at the bottom of Paddock Hill.
Yes, you're correct there, Rob. I mean, I was, I think. So I got a little bit confused because I couldn't really see exactly what was going on. What I did see was 2 cars on the side, and it looked like Robbo Fernker may have had a collision with one of the back markers, and then maybe Law got collected in that as well. I'm not really sure.
Law was facing the wrong way. I'm just going to jump on board on the replay and let me see if I can have a look at what happened.
I appreciate that, Rob. Thank you. Meanwhile, though, I do believe that Prentice has got in front of Critico. Indeed, he has. So Prentice is up into P4. And, wow. I mean, this last first challenge is definitely steaming ahead. Prentice up into P4. Maybe the race win's far-fetched, but certainly has a good chance of getting a podium here. Critico trying to fight back. Clearly not happy that Prentice has... nearly into the back of him. Into turn 1 now, but... just about got it stopped. Prentice, he now finds himself 2 seconds behind the Silver, who is currently on a podium position in P3.
Oh, okay. So what happened in that earlier incident? Luke Prentice loses the car at the last corner. He then gets collected by the number 36. They both get themselves underway, and as Luke makes his way to the bottom of Paddock Hill, the car spins once again.
Oh, okay. Okay, that is very, very unfortunate, of course. Very, very unfortunate. Yeah, we, as I said, I cut onto the onboard of Robbo Ferncar, and he was on the side. There was another driver on the side. And then, of course, you said that Law had spun in the middle of the track. This can be easily done, of course, in these racing conditions. I mean, we've already seen the onboards here, where barely any visibility for the drivers. And, it only takes a little moment like that, and all hell breaks loose. So, unlucky for the 3 drivers there.
Yeah, but the car was stationary on track for quite a while, obviously losing a lot of temperature all the while, and coming down that hill. It's a steep hill, Sean. It's about 10 metres, nearly 11 metres from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Cold tyres in the wet. And around she goes.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Of course, the drivers, when they spin, they're always told to hold their brakes, try not to move on the circuit. But clearly it was just an unavoidable accident. Unlucky for them drivers. So that means there is a big change in the lineup of drivers. So we got Vortel, who is currently leading the pack from Missile Dogshaft in P2. We got De Silva in P3. Luke Prentice finds himself in P4 now, with Krisico in P5. Busov in P6 now, and Tro P7. So really looking rosy for these drivers here, with K Alerts in P8, Friedman in P9, and Spanu rounding up the top 10 there.
Yeah, hats off to Pedro Silva this race. Excuse me, to clear my throat. Monza obviously took a P2 at Monza, followed by a DNF. Had a bit of a rough outing last time at Imola with a P13 and a P7, but currently driving extremely well at Brands.
Yes, indeed. Although he does have Luke Apprentice as company, currently only a second behind in a P4. As we know, Prentice has been a man on the charge in this race, as we're just coming up to the halfway mark of race 2 here. There we go, just confirmed there. So Luke Prentice just 1 second behind De Silva, but at this stage of the race, consistency is key, Prentice looking good for the podium, but of course, De Silva, phenomenal performance so far, and I am saying so far, Rob, because I don't want to jinx any driver at this stage.
Yeah, you're getting into a bit of a habit of doing that, Sean.
Yeah. So,
Spanu goes extremely wide, coming down the bottom straight into the south bank, collects the car up though, gathers it up and gets on the way, but he's definitely lost a lot of time now. Berger, he's right on the back of Spanu in P11.
Yes, indeed, it is. Although it doesn't say on the leaderboards at the moment, but currently probably about 3 or 4 tenths now. It's really closed that gap as we go through these successions of right-hand turns here at Brands Hatch. He's gonna, or both have got to be very careful through this part, of course. A little bit sketchy from Spanu actually out of Dingo Dell there.
Friedman doing a good job on the charge in P9 in the AMG, starting to charge down Kobe Alerts in the 702 Ferrari. A couple of seconds back, about 1.2 seconds back into turn 1, they go down the hill. And also Prentice is right on the back of Pedro now, right in the slipstream as they work their way down Pilgrims. Into the drop they go. Can he make a move into Hawthorne? No, he's going to bide his time. It's the right thing to do, is to go through the right-hander at Hawthorne onto Portobello.
Yeah, this is the part of the circuit that he's going to have to be a bit patient. There's
incredibly hard to pass through that section of the circuit.
Exactly, Rob, exactly. Incredibly close between De Silva and Prentice. Is all over the back of De Silva as we go down clearways to the last turn of the circuit, Clark Curve. Both get a good exit, to be fair. And for now, it looks like De Silva has got that P3.
Yeah, Akalugin off the circuit at the minute, down at the bottom straight. Collects his car out of the grass and gets back on the circuit, and away he goes. But a little bit of a...
Oh, sorry, Rob. But yeah, Prentice getting very, very close to the back of De Silva there. They nearly touched. Literally was an A4 paper width between the two bumpers there. Prentice all over the back of De Silva, and I mean literally all over the back of him as we go down the straight, and Prentice gets a great exit as well. Now, De Silva's going to defend for his life. He is going to take the inside line. It would be very brave of Prentice to go around the outside. And actually, De Silva on the brakes earlier than Prentice there, so nearly contact. But yeah, Prentice is going to have to bide his time through the next sort of, 3-4 turns here. But if he can stay to the back of him by the time we get to clearways, may have the opportunity to grab that P3 away from De Silva.
Yes, again, and I say we sounds like we're repeating ourselves, but super tricky part of the circuit to get an overtake done. As De Silva, Pedro Silva does just clip that grass.
I mean, yeah, it's
super stuff from Luke.
Yeah, it's great driving from both of them, to be honest. And
Indeed.
yeah, just neck and neck at the moment, and Prentice trying to put all sorts of pressure on De Silva as he does go a little bit wide, a bit deeper, and this gives the opportunity for Prentice to go up the inside of Druids and gets it done. De Silva,
beautiful pass.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful pass.
Fantastic there from Prentice. I think De Silva was trying to almost do the undercut there, but run out of road there. So yeah, Prentice up into the last podium position.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff there from Prentice, and again that is from the back of the grid up to the podium. Sorry, I accidentally muted my microphone there. Back of the grid up to the podium positions. Not to be, too disheartened from Pedro. He drove a phenomenal race, sat in P4 comfortably, sat in P3 comfortably for well over half the race. But hey, Luke has got some serious pace. Can he now close that gap? Be a bit of a tall ass, but can he close that gap and get any more places? There is still 14.5 minutes to go.
Rob, there we've got side-by-side action with Spano and Berger, and there was a little bit of contact as we went through. Can't remember what that turn is, but it's turn 4.
30s.
Yep, 30, thank you, Rob. And actually, Berger flashing his lights at Spano, maybe not giving him the respect or the space on the circuit there. So clearly, Berger not happy. But yeah, Berger all over the back of Spano here. And if I just get the onboard on now. Oh, he goes a little bit wide though, Berger. Spano gets a good exit out of Hawthorne Bend, I think it's called, isn't it? But then Spano goes wide, and now give the opportunity for Berger to go around the outside. And yeah, it does give him the space. They are literally side by side as we come up to Clark Curve. But there's again a bit of contact, but Berger eventually gets around Spano into P10, although Spano comes fighting back again, and Spano has got the inside for turn 1. Can he make it stick?
Oh, unbelievable stuff from these two, side by side.
He's going a little bit wide. Yeah, goes a little bit wide, and Berger slips down into P11. Spano takes that top 10 away from him again. But
brilliant racing from the two of those. Wheel to wheel action there between the two drivers. Absolutely phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, absolute phenomenal driving in these very tricky conditions. Hats off, got to go to both of the drivers there for fantastic clean driving there. I suspect though I suspect that Berger is not done here though. Gets a good exit out of Surtees. And trying to use that slipstream to close the gap on Spano as we go through Hawthorne. Of course, you can't really pass through these succession of right-hand bends, but of course looking to provide some sort of pressure on Spano. As we're getting quite close to the end of the race here, Rob. 12 minutes left.
Yeah, 12 minutes to go. I've just been riding on board for the last couple of laps. Luke Prentice lapping in and around the 1:36 mark, whereas Missile Dogshaft previous lap was a 1:37.3. That gap is coming down, but is there enough time to catch is the question. 4.4 second deficit at the moment between P2 and P3. Prentice is on an absolute charge.
Yes, indeed, Rob. He's on an absolute flyer right now. I think he's got a lapped car in front of him though, so that, although he does pull to the side there, so Prentice doesn't lose any time there. That was good safe driving from the back marker. I'm not sure who that was then, but yeah, Prentice 4.3 seconds is the gap between himself and Missile Dogshaft in P2. Yeah, Prentice has 11 minutes to try and catch up with a Missile Dogshaft, but definitely looking good at the moment. Just looking down the field, we have got Critico, that is 1.8 seconds behind De Silva, so he has been catching De Silva, who is still in a very healthy P4 position.
Yeah, brilliant outing for Pedro Silva this evening in the 55 McLaren. He's driven really well.
Yes, indeed, fantastically well. Yeah, I mean, the obviously Critico can close the gap. That is one thing, but passing him is another thing, isn't it, Rob? As we saw with Prentice, where he was on the back of De Silva for quite a number of laps. So yeah, not all is done for De Silva. Hopefully he can hold on to that P4. Yeah, just looking down the grid at the moment. Yeah, Tro having a fantastic race, also benefiting from the accident we had earlier on in the race. But yeah, Busov P6 and Tro 1.5 seconds behind in P7. I suspect that, I'm trying to wait for the leaderboards to update here, but I suspect that this race is not finished here, Rob. There is a few drivers here between P4 and P7 that are pretty close to each other. Rob, you have gone quiet. Hopefully you've not disconnected, mate. But
I do believe I have again. What's going on?
Well, I can hear you now, Rob. I can hear you now. So hopefully you're here to stay.
Just looking over my shoulder to see the state of my router, and all lights are on, so I am not sure.
Oh, that was someone spinning. Who was that? That was Friedman. It was Friedman. Friedman spun there. He was in P8. He's lost quite a number of positions. Number 18, that's Spahn who goes past. And 78, that's Berger that gets past as well. So Friedman down into P11 now. So very unfortunate there for Friedman. That jinx. The jinx happens again. I really need to shut my mouth, I think. It does definitely strike again. But yeah, so Spanu now up into the top 10. So yeah, we're not going to have that battle anymore. But yeah, Critico 2.2 seconds behind De Silva in P5, and Busov not too far. No, actually, he's quite far behind. My apologies. So just trying to find if there's any battles that we're missing out on here, but it looks pretty spread out.
Yeah, the drivers have started to spread out a little bit now, keeping a track of Prentice's moves forward. Still 4.2 second deficit to P2, so he's closing, but with only 7 minutes and about 30 seconds remaining. He's going to have to really put in a performance now to close the rest of that gap up, but I'm sure he's up for that challenge. De Silva settling into P4 with Critico about 2 seconds back and closing. Busov driving pretty much his own race now, sat comfortably in P6. Yeah, the drivers are quite spread out, Sean, you are right.
Yeah, I had a feeling this could be the case. Of course, Brands Hatch, very a very tricky circuit, very twisty, narrow circuit with the rain as well. I did suspect that this could happen, but yeah, you got to say though, Prentice who, yeah, he's not closing the gap on Missile Dogshaft. I think it's actually extended to about 11.5 seconds now.
Oh no, that's down.
Sorry?
Between Prentice and Dogshaft, that is down. That's 0.5 of a second closer. He's definitely not catching Vortal at this rate, but Prentice is very much catching Missile.
I thought it was about 9 seconds the last time I looked at the...
4.2, it's now 3.7.
Oh, okay, all right. So I was looking at it. It said 12 seconds, and that's why I said they pulled away.
That's P1. That's the P1.
Oh, my apologies. Yes, you're right there, Rob. My bad. Yeah, 4.1 seconds. Thank you. Yeah, so he is closing that gap then. So with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left, he has got enough time to maybe catch up with Missile Dogshaft.
Yeah, I did have a little bit of a wobble in the first part of this lap. That has put him back down to 4.1 seconds over the timing light as he makes his way into 30s. Back to 3 seconds. This race is definitely not over. Have we got some cars off the track in front? I think he did just move out the way. I don't think there was any coming together. I think that was a back marker just getting well out the way.
Fair play to the back marker there. But yeah, that's obviously... I think that's helped Prentice's cause though, isn't it? Because that gap is down to less than a second. In fact, it's saying Prentice is... it says Prentice has gone up to P2. Is that correct, Rob?
Was that Missile Dogshaft in the wall? Let me go back to the replay, Sean. Let me give me 1 minute and I will be back with you.
Well, no, I mean, it's definitely Prentice that's up into P2 here. So,
yeah, I just want to see who it was in the wall. I did see a car off the track as they came at the exit of Surtees, and I assumed that was a back marker getting out of the way.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I mean, Prentice was definitely on a charge. Yeah, and of course, with these conditions, 4 minutes to go, you know, tyres probably quite worn as well. The wet tyres, of course.
Oh no! It was. Okay. The car that I saw off the track.
Yep.
Was a back marker, but there was a coming together. So let me just watch this replay again and I'll talk you through it. The number 32 of Missile working his way towards Surtees, gets all sorts of out of shape into the grass, fires the car to the left into another car, takes them both out. Oh dear.
Well, Rob, I've got to say though, Missile Dogshaft all over the back of Prentice still. The gap is currently half a second. So, yeah, obviously very unfortunate with that incident. But still, you know, looking to fight back, which is good to see. We're just coming down clear ways now, and yeah, it is looking like half a second is the gap at the moment. So definitely Missile Dogshaft not happy, trying to fight back as we come across the line to, was it 23 laps we've done now, and yeah, 2 minutes 30 left of the race, so I would suspect that there is 2 laps remaining. So it's still maybe enough time for Missile Dogshaft to put a bit of pressure on Prentice and try and grab that P2 away from him. But yeah, very intense and very close between them still. Yeah,
been driving absolutely phenomenal. Missile has just an unfortunate mistake, got a little bit too happy on the throttle on the exit of Surtees. He fired the car back, fired the car to the left-hand side of the circuit, and there was another car already waiting for him there. That was the car I saw off track. Missile managed to collect himself up quite quickly and get himself going again, but that's where that time deficit really shot down, and Prentice closed that gap and obviously got the move done.
Well, meanwhile, I am on board with Spanu, who is... oh, it goes wide! I was just about to say Spanu was closing the gap on Berger, but goes wide out of turn 1. And...
He did it again!
Yeah. Yeah. Where's that zip? Oh dear. So yeah, Spanu has missed that opportunity then to grab that P9, but still currently in P10, and I think Frank is quite far back from him. So, and there's
the final lap message.
Yes.
Vortel does start his final lap. 14.5 seconds lead over Luke Prentice. It's been an absolutely storming drive from Vortel in both races. 56 seconds to go, making his way through the Cooper Straight into Surtees, turn number 4.
I have to say though, Missile Dogshaft not done here though, Rob.
No, absolutely not done.
And there is a car in front of Prentice at the minute as well. I believe a back marker who, just gets out of the way now. So, is there an opportunity for Missile Dogshaft to close the gap?
Number 8 off the circuit. Number 8, that is Will Friedman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's been into the box, repaired the car, and now finds himself in the dirt just after Sheen Curve turn 7, coming into Stirling.
Indeed.
Back on the track.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, unlucky there for Will Friedman. The sort of closing stages of this race, you know, he's had a couple of spins and just
Vortel.
Yeah, Vortel just coming across Clark Curve now to come across the checkered flag and win race 2 here at Brands Hatch GP circuit. That is a clean sweep for round 3 of this sprint series. And Prentice will grab P2. Excellent P2 there for Luke Prentice, with P3 for Missile Dogshaft in the end.
Yeah, phenomenal race from then Luke all the way to the back of the grid to P2. Missile with that minor mistake has probably lost him the position there because he was driving extremely well. De Silva taking P4 with Critico in P5. Busnov now making his way around that last corner, will happily take P6. Tro shortly behind, not close enough to get the move done, so will definitely take P8.
P7.
P7. Kobe, Kobe just coming round the last corner now for P. Has he already took the checkered flag? Oh, I'm getting a bit of a...
Kobe's just come across the line to claim P8. We've got Berger just coming across the start-finish line to get P9. And then Spanu rounds up the top 10 there, doing a handbrake turn over the line and crashing into the barrier. Then, we've also got now Frank S. So Frank S was right down there, wasn't he, earlier on? Now in P11. So
good clawback. Good clawback drive from Frank. Damage limitation on that one.
Yes, indeed. And that is it. Yeah, Smallhand was the last person to come across the line on that train of cars there in P12. So let's get the standings up. Actually, let's save the replay quickly as well, Rob. Yep. Just bear with me.
Wonderful race there from the guys. Smallhand as well, coming home in P12. Akalugin. Fantastic drive from Dazza. What a performance that one is there. Dazza 14th by his own admission. He's very new to the game, and fair play. P14. Fantastic result for him.
Yes, Rob. Yeah, just to clarify the race results, obviously pending any stewards' inquiries. Zdenek Vortel does win race 2 here at Brands Hatch with Luke Prentice again. Fantastic in the rain here. Goes from P23 to P2. Absolute phenomenal. Then we got Missile Dogshaft P3, De Silva in P4, Critico in P5. Then we had Busov in P6, Tro in P7, K Alerts in P8. Then we had Berger in P9, Spanu rounding up the top 10, and then Frank S P11. Good comeback considering how far back he was earlier on during the race, with Small Hand up into P12 in the end. Akalugin P13, Dazza T, GG's to you there, Dazza in P14. Friedman, absolute nightmare in the sort of last quarter of the race, ends up in P15, with P16 going to AV Player Racing. P17, Robbo Fernker, again having a little bit of a nightmare and got caught up in the spin, wasn't it, or the crashes. So, ends up in P17 with Clark P18, Naisbit in P19, Law in P20, Moggs in P21, and then, of course, Alduri and McCutcheon with a DNF sort of quite early on, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, unfortunate for them. I'm not sure whether they got a server. I mean, I've had 2 server disconnects tonight, but I think that is my end, not the server. But yeah, didn't race, so a bit of DNF for Alduri and for Dan at the back. Some phenomenal racing. Where did the time go? Hello, Kat. You want to say hello to everybody else? Did you? did that pick up on?
I didn't hear it, to be honest, but yeah, clearly got a cat that wants to become a star. Is this correct? Hold on, guys. Sorry, bear with me here. I'm sure I saved the replays here.
So while Sean is sorting out that race replay, we look ahead, ladies and gentlemen, to next week's race, where we will be taking a hop, skip and a jump. Quite some jump as well, 4,400 miles away where we currently are in the southeast of the UK, all the way to Austin, Texas, for the Circuit of the Americas for round 4 of the Pure Sim Gear Super Sprint Season 10. I cannot wait to see that. The GT3 cars going around COTA, very, very technical circuit, very challenging. Sector 2, plenty of slipstream city from very, very, very long straights at COTA. Looking forward to that one, Sean.
Yes, definitely, Rob. This is a circuit I'm not that familiar with, really, Rob. Apart from that, it's on the F1 calendar. But as far as I know, very technical circuit. It's got some very tight hairpins, as well as some long straights as well.
Yeah, very, very, very long straights into very sharp sort of hairpin tight turns. Very tricky sector 2. Very, very similar. I actually believe the designer took parts of sector 2 from the Maggots and Beckett's complex at Silverstone, so that will look very familiar to you. But yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds very intriguing to say the least. But yeah, it's been an absolute fantastic race today, Rob. We saw a lot of action. It has to be said. I think Brands Hatch always brings out a lot of drama, let's just say, as well as obviously the rain being a little bit of a factor. But yeah, really enjoyed today, Rob, and I have to say thank you so much for joining me in the commentary box today.
Yeah, my pleasure as always. Big congratulations to the drivers. That was a very challenging race.
Yes, indeed. I have to say a big congratulations to Vortel, who has now won, I believe, 4. Yeah, he's won four races out of
straight.
5, isn't it? 4 straight, yes. So, is there a man that can catch Vortel in the upcoming races? Who knows? But definitely go and join us next week, which is August the 6th, isn't it, Rob? On Sunday, 7:45 p.m. British summertime for the Circuit of the Americas circuit. So yeah, got to say a big thank you to obviously the podium runners and you know, congratulations to all the drivers that stayed on circuit and provided a showcase for all of us to watch. Also got to say big thank you to the sponsors and of course FRL. Without them, these races wouldn't be happening in the first place. But the biggest shout we've got to give is to you guys, the viewers. Thank you so much for joining us and keeping us company today. And yeah, again, Rob, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Enjoy your evening. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's a goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Rob, and yeah, good night, everyone. Catch you next week. Take care, all.